Good morning, I'm Rimo, and this is the Daily Signal for November 25th, 2025. We're starting with absolutely shocking breaking news. A woman in Thailand was found alive inside a coffin just moments before cremation after being declared dead. This is a story that will make you question everything about medical protocols. Stay tuned for the rest of today's explosive headlines.
Unfiltered. Now.
Here are 9 more critical stories breaking today. Breaking. Russia launches massive bombardment of Kyiv just hours after Trump expressed hope for peace deal. The devastating contradiction that's shocking the world. Urgent. Nigerian children kidnapped from Catholic school as helpless father watches his own kids taken at gunpoint. A security crisis spiraling out of control. Unprecedented. Ancient volcano erupts for the first time in 10,000 years, threatening nearby communities with evacuations underway. Escalating. At Hezbollah leader's funeral, explosive threats ring out. The Zionists should be worried. Regional tensions at breaking point. Major crisis. Xi Jinping pressures Trump on Taiwan as both leaders agree to high-stakes summit in China this April. Defiant. Taiwan's premier fires back at Xi. Return to China is not an option. Confrontation intensifies. Developing. Gaza violence persists despite ceasefire efforts as humanitarian crisis deepens. Tensions spike. Japan-China relations deteriorate over Taiwan dispute. Military alertness rising. Controversy erupts. Australian far-right senator wears burqa to parliament demanding ban, sparking national outrage. These stories are developing fast. Let's get the critical details you need to know. What authorities aren't telling you is how close this came to an unthinkable tragedy. In Thailand, a woman was literally minutes away from being cremated alive after hospital staff mistakenly declared her dead. Here's what happened. The woman was brought to the crematorium, placed in a coffin, and the cremation process was about to begin when funeral workers heard sounds coming from inside. When they opened the coffin, they found her very much alive, conscious, and responsive. This could mean a complete breakdown in medical protocols. How does someone get declared dead when they're still breathing? The implications are staggering. This suggests systematic failures in Thailand's healthcare system that could affect anyone. The woman is now recovering, but authorities are scrambling to investigate. Emergency reforms are being demanded. This is happening right now, and it raises terrifying questions about medical standards worldwide. The timing couldn't be more explosive. Just hours after President Trump publicly voiced hope for a Ukraine peace deal, Russian forces launched one of their most intense bombardments of Kyiv in months. Civilians are dead. Critical infrastructure is damaged. The message from Moscow is crystal clear. They're not interested in peace talks. What this reveals is the brutal reality behind diplomatic optimism. Every time there's talk of peace, Russia seems to escalate violence. Ukrainian officials are calling this evidence of Russia's complete bad faith in any negotiations. The crisis deepens as we're seeing a pattern. Diplomatic hope followed immediately by devastating attacks. This is far worse than initially reported, and it's happening as international mediators struggle to find any path forward. A father's worst nightmare unfolded in Niger State, Nigeria, as armed men stormed a Catholic school in Papiri and kidnapped dozens of children, including his own, while he watched helplessly. The situation is deteriorating rapidly. This father described watching gunmen force children into vehicles at gunpoint while he could do nothing. The human cost is devastating, families torn apart, children terrorized, communities living in fear. Sources confirm this is part of a larger security crisis. Armed groups are exploiting lawlessness in the region, and similar, mass kidnappings have become increasingly common. The government's response has been inadequate, leaving communities vulnerable. This story is still unfolding, with search operations underway, but the implications are staggering. Nigeria's security crisis is spiraling beyond control, and innocent children are paying the price. Scientists are stunned. A volcano that has been dormant for approximately 10,000 years just erupted, sending massive ash plumes and lava flows toward populated areas. Emergency evacuations are underway as authorities scramble to assess the unprecedented situation. What makes this terrifying is that no one saw it coming. This volcano wasn't even on the active monitoring list. The implications go far beyond this single eruption. Volcanologists are warning this could signal the beginning of a new active period. Communities built around what they thought was a dead volcano are now facing an existential threat. As I'm speaking, ash clouds are affecting air travel, and lava flows are advancing toward settlements. This is a developing emergency with potentially catastrophic consequences that could last for months or even years. Thousands gathered at the funeral of Hezbollah's second-in-command, and the rhetoric was explosive. Chants of the Zionists should be worried and anti-American threats filled the air, revealing the volatile atmosphere in Lebanon. This isn't just funeral rhetoric, it's a direct escalation of regional tensions at a time when ceasefire efforts are already fragile. Hezbollah's influence remains strong, and these public threats signal potential retaliation. The timing is critical as diplomatic efforts in the region hang by a thread. Such inflammatory language risks derailing any peace progress and could trigger new cycles of violence across the Middle East. In a major geopolitical development, Chinese President Xi Jinping has intensified pressure on Trump regarding Taiwan, while both leaders agreed to meet in China this April. Xi emphasized China's core interests on Taiwan, demanding U.S. respect for the One China principle. This high-stakes summit could reshape U.S.-China relations and Taiwan's future security. The agreement to meet is significant amid global uncertainty about Taiwan's status. What happens in that room in April could determine whether we see peaceful coexistence or dangerous escalation in East Asia. Meanwhile, another situation is spiraling. Taiwan's premier fired back at Xi, declaring that return to China is not an option for Taiwan's people, deepening the confrontation over the island's democratic future. Adding to today's chaos, Gaza violence persists despite ceasefire efforts, with sporadic airstrikes and rocket fire continuing as humanitarian aid remains insufficient for desperate civilians. The crisis expands as Japan-China tensions spike over the Taiwan dispute, with both nations increasing military alertness and diplomatic strain reaching dangerous levels. In related breaking news, Australian far-right Senator Pauline Hanson sparked national controversy by wearing a burqa to Parliament while demanding a ban on the garment, an inflammatory stunt condemned across political lines as disrespectful and divisive. This is all part of a bigger picture we're seeing unfold. From the Thai medical crisis to geopolitical tensions spanning from Ukraine to Taiwan, we're witnessing a world grappling with systematic failures and escalating conflicts. The pattern is clear. Institutions we trust, hospitals, governments, international diplomacy, are being tested like never before. Whether it's medical protocols failing catastrophically or peace efforts crumbling within hours, the systems we depend on are under unprecedented strain. What connects these stories is the human cost. From children kidnapped in Nigeria to families displaced by ancient volcanoes suddenly roaring back to life, to communities caught between superpowers playing dangerous games. Real people are paying the price for these failures and conflicts. The stakes couldn't be higher. These aren't isolated incidents. They're warning signs of deeper instabilities that could affect us all. We're living through a moment when the unexpected has become expected, and the impossible is happening daily. We'll continue monitoring these developing situations and bring you the latest as these stories unfold. This is the Daily Signal. Stay informed. Stay prepared.
Unfiltered. Now.